Hey everybody, it's Hannah from the Lancaster Public Library, and today I downloaded a cookbook on Hoopla. Did you know you could do it? You can. Hoopla and Overdrive, we have a bunch of different cookbooks you can download, access on your device wherever you have internet, and get cooking. So the cookbook I'm using is called Bread by Martin Johansson. Seems to have a lot of recipes for the beginner baker, such as myself. Tons of different options out there for people who are more skilled. You should check it out. I'm going to be baking the easy white bread loaf, which is the very first recipe in this book. So it seems like you can do it in a day. It's about 2 o'clock, so hopefully I have time before dinner. And all you need is a few ingredients here. So you start with 2 1/4 teaspoons of yeast, which is like the equivalent of one of those little packets that you get in a strip. 1.5 cups of water, 2 teaspoons of salt, 3 cups of bread flour, 1 big mixing bowl, wooden spoon, something to cover it up with. We're gonna just mix it all together, stir it up, and there we go, that's the beginning. Okay, we begin. In goes the yeast, in goes the water. Stir it around a little bit just for fun. Gonna put in the salt. It's looking kind of chunky and weird. It's gonna get better. And then I'm gonna just sort of dump in some of this flour and begin to kind of slowly mix it in until it's all in there. So here we are. I have everything mixed up. As you can see, the dough is kind of sticky. It is like all incorporated though. There's no flour kind of left floating around there. And it's sticky enough that it sort of comes off of the edges of the bowl. So that's one thing to look for. So one of the good things about this recipe is that it's a no-knead recipe, so you don't need to worry about how strong your arms are. We're just gonna let it sit for a half an hour. I'm gonna cover it up with my lid from a pot here because I don't have an actual lid for this bowl, but yeah, we're just gonna cover it up for a half an hour and then we'll check back then and see how it's going. Okay, I'm back. It's been a half an hour. I'm going to perform the first of, I think, like 2 or 3 of these exercises here. So take the lid off with a clean and slightly damp hand. I'm gonna go ahead and like pull the dough a little bit away from the edges of the bowl. And that's kind of like the slight kneading that we'll be doing, but that's it. So here's my dough. And I'm just kind of like, ooh, it's super wet. So I'm gonna like yank it off. I don't know if you can see this. And we're just gonna do that like all the way around the hole, all the sides. So that all of the dough is kind of moved around, I guess is the point of it. There we go. Bing. Gonna recover it for another half hour. I'm going to take the lid off and just repeat that same thing over again. We're gonna be kind of pulling the dough away from the bowl, folding, like stretching a little bit, and then kind of folding it into the middle. And I'm just gonna go all the way around again. So we're gonna do this, and then we're gonna cover it up, and then we're gonna let it sit for 1 hour this time. Ooh, it's like looking really nice and doughy right now. That is great. Cover it up, and then don't touch it for another hour. Okay, so it has been an hour, and at this point, I have in front of me a well-floured towel, just like a kitchen towel. And I'm going to take the dough, dump it onto the floured towel, and form it into kind of like a loaf-like shape. Trying ending up with the folded seam facing down, and then I'm gonna fold the towel around the loaf. So we'll see how this goes. Go. It's quite sticky, maybe too sticky. We'll find out. It's not looking very pretty. I'm kind of like folding it a little bit here and getting the towel all mixed up. It's not very graceful. Okay, so I'm gonna go, oof. Don't know if that was the right decision. There we go, something like this. Here we go. Don't know if you can see from this angle. Ta-da. And now I'm just gonna fold the towel around it, and it's just gonna sit here for like about an hour. During this time, oh, this looks so cute, Fatty. During this time, I'm gonna turn on the oven and preheat it to 475. Here we are. It's been an hour, and I've just taken the towel off of the dough that's been sitting here. I'm gonna try and get it onto a baking sheet with some parchment paper, and then we're gonna throw it in the oven for like 35 minutes. So I might end up cutting to the completed process. Jesus. What? I don't know how to do this. Okay, that really didn't work. So instead, I had to kind of peel it off of my, I guess, not floured enough towel, and just kind of remold it into a shape. Now, I might try something different. It does not say to do this, but every other time that I've baked bread, it says to like score the top. So since my seam is now not at the top, I'm gonna go ahead and do that. We'll see. Ding. Oh boy. All right, there we go. Now I am just going to put it in the oven, and we'll see how this turns out. And here we are. Just took it out of the oven a couple minutes ago. I would say that is a pretty good looking loaf. So we're gonna have to wait until it cools down completely, and then I will cut it open. Okay, here we are. I believe the loaf has cooled down enough, and I am going to cut it open. Looks like bread. Once again, use the books Bread, Bread, Bread by Martin Johansson, available on Hoopla, so go ahead and check it out now. You can make your own loaf or try some of the other cookbooks that we have available. Have a good one.